Howdy, folks, and welcome back to our build. There's that wall they were just working on. Look at that. It's all been plastered all up. I tell you, almost every day I end up going to get bags of cement. Today I'm at the same store, but I'm after something a little different. This is a new phase we're entering here. There it is, skim coat. Spackle, mud, whatever you want to call that. The bags weigh half as much as bags of cement, but they cost twice as much. It's raining today. I'm going to have them just put it inside the car.
Okay. Up.
There you go. You got to mix all that up. It's got to be mixed really good into a type of a paste, I guess you could call it. And then it gets smeared on the wall. Just troweled on nice and evenly like a skim coat. That's what they call it. And there it is. Look how nice and bright the wall looks now. That'll all have to be sanded. I think they're arriving with our final load of blocks. So we'll go out and we'll see to that and jump into this.
You have to pardon my appearance. I was plastering. I was putting a skim coat on the office. One of the things we're up to on there. It's like a spackle, mud, whatever you want to call it. The real thin coat of that on, then it'll get sanded. I did a couple walls today in there just to see how it would go. It went pretty quick. About an hour and a half worth of work. So, yeah, like I thought, the painting, I think they want 200 baht a meter to paint, and that's with us buying the paint and everything. And that includes that skim coat. I don't know, it's worth it. I just did about 8 square meters in about an hour, at least the skim coat, but that's probably the hard part. I could paint that in half the time. Anyway, I'm not going to focus on what's not been done. I'm going to focus on what it has been done. Lon's really come underway on the entrance. She's got that all framed up today. That's where the front door is going to go, and the last little bit of wall. She's working on that right now. It'll be sealed. We'll all be sealed in a day or two. I bought one of the bedroom doors here. Lon's other son came down from Korat, so now we got two of her kids here working, and he actually might stay here because the one room's to the point now. We put a door in there, and maybe we throw a window in. It's going to be more comfortable than sleeping on our back porch, which is where he was sleeping. So both kids are just full on doing the electrics. I got to go buy more wire. Some people were remarking about the wire. There is, I don't know, I thought it was all the same thickness. There's different thicknesses of wire. This brown wire here is 4 millimeters, and then this blue wire is 2.5 millimeters. I don't know what they do, different things or whatever. Anyway, I got to go buy more of it. All that wire, about over 10,000 baht worth of wire, and still isn't enough. We've got a lot of outlets, a lot of switches. Lon keeps complaining. I said, this is the house we're going to be in. I mean, we need to be happy. We want outlets everywhere, the right switches. So it's just makes sense to do that. Spend the time and effort now to do that before it gets out of hand. You know, funny thing, a friend of mine in Pattaya sent me a message yesterday and said, hey, I'm building a house. He didn't know how close it was to me, but down here in Rayong. And I said, send me the location, and he did. And I said, yeah, it's about an 8 or 9 minute drive from me. He's right by the beach. Anyway, he asked me, the purpose of his message was to see if I could, recommend a contractor, recommend some workers, some people to build. He's doing a little bit of a different kind of build. He's kind of starting with a house that was already built, kind of tearing it down, building it back up kind of thing, where I'm starting from nothing, from a dirt. But I think he's tearing so much down, he's almost starting from dirt. I said, I can't recommend anybody that I've used. I wouldn't recommend anybody that I've used because nobody was that good where I would recommend them to somebody else. I wouldn't want somebody else to get my headaches. I mean, that's a sad, sorry state of affairs. It's a bad thing to say, but it's honest. This is like the 3rd or 4th day in a row. Some people aren't here. One guy strained his, tore a muscle, he says, tore a muscle, and God knows where Big Mama and her friend are. I guess it rained today. This morning it was raining pretty hard. People just don't work when it rains, I guess. We're all doing inside work. I don't know where that would matter. Anyway, I'm going to go get this wire, and then we'll see what's going to take shape from now to the rest of the week. Got back from the store today. I bought what's called a picnic. It's a small bottle of gas, one that you can buy, not one that you like rent to get filled or whatever. This is one you own, and for that reason they're expensive. but it's basically a one burner stove. You turn it on. They were cooking with this pot, I call them pot barbecues back here, the bucket of coals, but they had to light that every time. This is going to be much quicker. So now they got the refrigerator, because our friends in Pattaya gave us a refrigerator. We ran up and got that the other day. Not a great big one, but it's something. It's nice. And now they've got this basically a one burner stove, gas stove, cook meals out here, everything. What's going on today? Lon's almost finished the front wall. She's working on that to where the front door is going to go, the part above that. The only thing she has left is above this last window down here. So by the end of today, I anticipate that being done. Meanwhile, Big Mama's plastering the foundation of the house on the front and on the side. The walls have already been done. Anywhere the walls have been done, but the foundation has not. She and her partner are doing that. Meanwhile, one of the sons is picking up where I left off yesterday with the skim coat in the office. Well, that the whole place has to be done with that. That's a lot of work as well. Then that all has to be sanded. But I did it yesterday just to see how it goes. Pretty quick. It goes pretty quick, but it's just it's a long process. All that's got to be put on and then sanded, and then maybe gone over again with the fill in little imperfections, and then sanded again, and then primed, and then finally painted. It's a long road to the final paint. So, but I just went in there and tested the part I did yesterday. A little bit of it was sand. I don't know. I thought it felt great. Smooth as a baby's bottom. I think they got about as far as they can go with the electrical. I need to go get them some more wire. I'll do that now. They even ran the LAN wire that goes all the way back from the front where the router's going to be to the office. That's got its own conduit. So electric's probably 85-90% done for the whole house. It's been a big job as well. And then once she gets done this final blocks, they can really go to town plastering the rest of the interior of the house. We basically got a tale of two sides of the house here. This side here, basically Lon did the entire side. And the side over there, the builders did just about that whole side. And that side's pretty much done with the plastering, almost done. The inside's all been plastered. It's a lot farther along than the part she's been doing. And that's been a big thing of this, trying to convince her to let other people do it. But at the same time, she's right in the fact that, well, they don't work that good, and we got to pay them big money. So you're paying for substandard work where she can do it, albeit a lot slower, and basically it doesn't cost us anything, and it's a quality product. So there's the balancing act. The whole thing's a balancing act. Everything in this, I'll say this, if you have a good relationship with your significant other, that will really bode well for you, because you have to be able to argue about everything. Everything here has been an argument. You have to have a back and forth. It's good for the process. Sometimes I convince her that I'm right. Sometimes she convinces me that she's right. So without that, though, you don't get to the best outcome. If you don't have that back and forth, challenge each other constantly and say, I think it should go like this. She goes, well, I think it should go like this. If you just take the path of least resistance and say, well, I don't want to argue, which I know a lot of people would do. I don't want to argue. Then you're going to have, maybe you'll get lucky and it would be a good outcome, but it also could be not the best outcome. Because if you would have talked it through, argued it through, it's an argument. Any difference of opinion is tantamount to an argument. You can call it that. But what you're really doing is challenging each other and making sure that you come to the best outcome. Two people feel passionate about the same subject, but they have different ways of getting there, or they visualize different outcomes. Something as simple as like the door in the office, which way that should open. I won that one. I think it should open in and away. She wanted it to open in, but toward. She wanted. I wanted it to open toward this wall. Anyway, we both had 180 degrees difference on that. I prevailed. I explained to her how the door will be out of your way and you can walk right into the room instead of having to kind of walk around the door and shut it to be able to get into the room. Just things like that maybe I see, and the next thing, it'll be something I'm not seeing that she sees. So you have to have a strong enough relationship where you can basically argue everything out. And at the end of the day, still be supportive of each other and on good terms. If not, something like this, a project like this, could destroy your relationship because some of these arguments might get out of hand. You have to be respectful of each other and at the same time get your point across. if you take the path of least resistance, you're not doing yourself any favors. I tell you, end of another week, and despite not having the contractor here with his tour muscle or whatever, and despite these guys not working on the septic system, Lon and her crew, the two sons and her crew, Big Mama and the other girl, they really got a lot done this week. The entire front's done now with all the blocks. All the blocks are laid. The only blocks that still need to be laid are in that back bathroom where they were laid and we had to tear it down. And that's only about the last 4 or 5 courses. We're waiting for the contractor to come back to do that. And we've got more than enough blocks out front there for them. They put a big dent in those that we got delivered, though, yesterday. They cleaned up the foundation. That's all been plastered. They're working on the interior of the living room. It's not that much more to do with the plastering either. Anyway, I'm happy with the progress this week despite all of the setbacks. And Lon, the crew, the sons, wow, they really did a good job. Even got my hands dirty yesterday myself. It's a Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. I think an ideal circumstance to put in a septic system. And that's what's going on today. They're just starting. They will start with the toilets. The toilets will both go into the tank, the big black tank. That's where all the solid waste will be stored. So they have to make a Y-type, kind of like a modern-day parallel twin motorbike. You got 2 pipes coming off the engine back into one mid-pipe and then one exhaust. Well, that's what they're doing here. Making kind of 2 outlets for 2 toilets into one big mid pipe and then into we'll call it the container, the big black container. Anyway, even though I have a bunch of pipe, there's a certain size pipe that we're missing, 2-inch, whatever. I'm going to take the guy to the store right now. Whatever they need, they'll get. But I like these guys. They're ditch digging and bare feet in the mud. They know exactly what they're doing. There'll be 2 or 3 different systems. There'll be the first one they're doing engineering here just for the toilets. Then the second tank, there'll be like a kind of a parallel system for the showers and the sinks. And then in the back, there'll be the one for the kitchen sink. So it's not all one continuous network. It's going to be like, say, 3 sub-networks of wastewater and septic matter. Anyway, there's all kind of other stuff going on. So their Big Mama and her partner over there, they're doing the outside of the wall. They're going to plaster that today. The young boy's back. He's in there helping with the electric. Lon's still working on the front facade over here where the door is going to be, getting all that sorted, where the big glass door is going to open and close. So tons of stuff. She doesn't really have time to mess with these septic guys. I'm going to help them, get them on their way, take them to get what they need, and answer any questions they have, where we want things, etc. Anyway, I'll show you the progress so far. Stop at the plumbing store. All these different fittings. It's just kind of, he's got tons of fittings. But does he have everyone we need? No. He's already missing the first one. All that stuff he's got. And the one we asked for he don't have. That's just the way it goes. I think we need a length of this 2-inch or 2.5-inch pipe, whatever it is. And we'll try to find somewhere else to stop to get this last piece. I know maybe you'll just go to the big place. The big place will probably have it. Try to get everything I can right in the neighborhood without going too far away from the job site. That's always for the best. Right next door, it looks like it's actually the same place, just their land over here. The melon wagon has arrived. They got some prime melons over there. The one I didn't have is a 90-degree 4-inch. So I bought two 45s to put those together and make a 90. Maybe that'll beat a blank. I don't know. We'll try. These are pretty all heavy gauge. The small pieces are about $1 each, 30 baht. The medium size, about 60 baht, almost $2. And the big 4-inch, 45-degree bend pieces, they're like 95 baht. That's almost $3. So, but they're a very thick, hardy gauge PVC. And we got the 3 lengths of, I think, 2.5-inch pipe. Hopefully, we got everything to keep them busy today. Hopefully. There's not a lot of options. The big place is closed. That's why I ended up buying what we bought. You're not going to believe this. This daggum centipede crawled all the way from God knows where into the house. I don't know how. Down the wall just so he could be on my brand new skim coat wall. I guess he thinks that's his new home. He's got a rude awakening. The pipes, the fittings, everything was delivered. What they're doing, the first system for the toilets, they did already. That's the big 4-inch pipe. The next one will be the drains for just the water in the shower and the sink. And that'll go in this second tank. So they've dug down to a level where they're going to then fill that up with concrete and where that tank will be at the right height. So they dig down at about 4 or 5 inches of concrete, whatever it's going to be, and then put the tank on top. Then they can run the second network of drains for the sinks, the showers, etc. So that's what they're in the process of doing. That's why they needed the 2.5-inch pipe. But they've got to fill that up with concrete, get the water out of there. They're mixing up the concrete right now. Anyway, that'll be next time. And then after that, they'll start back here. Maybe after that, I'm guessing, will be the one for the sink. Somewhere in between all that, these big round septic tank pieces will be installed somewhere, somehow. We'll see. But that's not the first thing they're doing. The first thing they're doing is getting these hooked up, going into the plastic tanks. The one for solid waste, the one for just regular water waste. Anyway, that's all we got time for today.
So like that, the busiest day of the week, the last day or the first day of the week, however you count Sunday. This is actually Sunday, the day I'm uploading this. So I've got to get back out there and see what they're going to do next, see what help they might need. But I'm so happy to have this portion right here with this septic and the pipes and the holes, having that addressed and worked on, because it's been sitting like that for so long. It's something that could have been done long ago. And also, that's where I'm going to park. That's my parking space. Hard to believe that'll be where I end up parking my car. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. Something else next time. But for this one, I got to go ahead and leave it off right here.
And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.